Welcome to CCRPG, where we open up our virtual table and play games with some good friends. I'm Bob, and I'll be running Lancer, an RPG by Miguel Lopez and Tom Parkinson-Morgan. You can find it on itch.io. It's been about a week since the DBC Crew has left the battle in the Mento system. With the departure of Ruination Conditioning, Jessica Starling has stepped up into the operator role, happy to have another way to contribute to the crew. They have since returned to E.O.S Station. After a debrief with Ren, they assure you still have their full support. In fact, it is obvious your retelling of the events has worried Ren. You are stepping into a larger arena than they had expected. Taking the information, leads, and mysterious tech you uncovered, they ask for some patience while they check into some things, apologizing that you did not have everything you needed for your last mission, and making additional resources available to you. Evelene, how do you dodge a bar stool in flight?
I guess I would do is either
depends on how drunk you are, right?
Yeah, actually that was my first thought, and I was like, this may not be a bar situation. Well, you either throw something to, if you have something nearby to mess with the trajectory of the stool, otherwise you dodge.
Okay, that sounds like a stay cool to me. Why don't you go ahead and roll me a pilot check?
Yeah, I can do that. I'm great at stay cool. No modifiers?
Just your stay cool.
I rolled a 13.
A 13, you successfully dodge an errant bar stool flying through the air. You find yourselves in the mooring, the bar to be in if you are trying to track down a job or rustle up information on the movements of crews and operators in the sector. Unfortunately, you also happen to be there as a bar fight breaks out.
Oh, so I didn't cause it.
Evelene, what did you do?
We don't know that for sure, okay?
Nothing, I swear.
A group of fuel haulers coming back from a drop-off in the core, and a cadre of miners on leave from downwell operations have been exchanging barbs at each other all night long. After a few choice comments, the entire bar has gotten caught up in the chaos. Where are all of you in the bar right now?
Astro is trying to flag down the bartender who is completely distracted trying to defuse this bar fight. But Astro seems to be oblivious of all of that, and he really wants his drink.
Tessie Mendels, the operator of the mooring, Ren's partner, comes over to you, Astro, and holds what appears to be a nice, glass with some brown liquid and a big ice cube in it, and she holds it just out of your reach and says, "No service until that calms down." And she points out at the chaos out in the bar.
Oh. But I wanted to have a tasty beverage so I can enjoy the show.
She points behind you. Astro, an unconscious man slides up to your feet, and behind him, an obviously angry miner rushes towards you, seemingly not satisfied with the knockout he just got, and attacking now the next closest thing he found. What do you do?
Okay, Astro holds up his hands and says, "Hey, I come in peace. Why don't we talk this out?" He's going to try to charm him.
Yeah, go for
it. But it's not a door.
That just means he won't get accuracy on the roll.
I roll a 7.
The miner does not want to be your friend, Astro. And as Tessie holds your drink just tentatively out of reach, you are tackled by this man.
And now your drink is getting dumped on your face.
Dyne, where are you in the bar?
Uh, Dyne's at a table in like the far corner, trying to stay away from everything because I assume the fight's kind of like maybe centered. He's like away from it, just watching it all happen, sipping his drink because Astro doesn't have one, but Dyne does.
And as you sip your drink, you watch as Evelene dodges an errant bar stool. Astro, trying to get a drink, gets tackled by an angry miner. What have you been doing over here as this fight broke out tonight?
Well, you see, I had just gotten my drink, just sat down, and then the bar fight broke out. Some guy said something, another guy got mad, started swinging a bar stool, and then things kind of escalated from there. And Dyne's just like, nope, I'm not getting in the middle of this shit.
And from your position towards the wall, you will remember kind of the layout of the mooring. The mooring was built with the view in mind. 2 entire walls of the bar are dedicated to external views looking out on the stars and the center of the Archie system around which this station revolves. And there are tables and booths all built to have sight of them. You're at one such table. The bar counter itself, where Evelene and Astro are getting involved in the raucous nonsense, is a large rectangular bar built into the very center of the room. There are various screens all around this bar. You will remember from your last time on E.O.S Station, the mooring is a known spot for travelers who are in the know, people who want to find out what's going on in shipping and information, even, private sector movements in the area. Dyne, it was your friend who put you onto the mooring, your very first mission, when you first arrived at E.O.S Station, and told you that Tessie Mendels knows a little bit more than she usually lets on and is a good place to drum up some information. What brought you all to the mooring tonight?
Well, after getting back from our latest mission, we came down here to speak with Tessie and see if we could, 1, maybe secure a job, and 2, maybe if she has a better update of what went down after we left, because we just kind of got out and didn't look back. Maybe she's heard some rumors about the pirates and everything.
Sure. And, that probably was going to be the plan. Tessie's been pretty busy. This is always a busy place. And as you guys were here watching things get worse and worse over the last hour or so, she told you she'd get back to you, that she has some information for you. She'd just, get some drinks ready. And then things kind of went south. While this was all happening, what have you been up to, Steve?
Well, is Jessica there with us, or is it just me?
It would just be the 4 of you.
Okay. Then I'm just, avoiding everyone, and then if somebody gets too close to me, I just, kidney punch them or something, and then push them out of the way.
All right, KESTRAL. One such assailant does make his way towards you, trying to skirt away from another angry miner coming at him, one of the fuel haulers from earlier. Almost tries to use your presence as a wall to not get involved in the fight. How do you deal with these 2 people now kind of almost dancing around you, trying to get at each other?
I'll ignore the guy who's just trying to, hide around me, and then when the other guy comes up to me, I'll, take him out. And then after that, turn around to the other guy who is just not doing anything, trying to get away from me, and then take him out too. Then just leave them on top of each other and walk away.
Would you say this is maybe an assault then?
Sure, yeah. Let's go with that. Ooh, it's an 8.
So you are able to take out the first of them. The miner comes after the fuel hauler behind you, and you just, exactly what you described. You kidney punch the guy. As he reels, you can tell in his drunken state he's not really in a mood to really mess with someone of your caliber. You just push him over, and he falls into a heap on the ground. Unfortunately, now all his buddies think of you as a valid target in this bar brawl that is going on, as you seem to have picked a side before you could react and dispatch the other person behind you. As you are pulled into this nonsense, what are you doing, Steve?
I would like to get away quickly.
Absolutely. And what do you picture yourself doing for that?
Taking the guy behind me, switching places, pushing him in front of the others, and then ducking to the table that Dyne is at.
Absolutely. I think this would be either probably a stay cool or a get somewhere quickly.
All right. 22 for stay cool.
And with an expert move, the guy behind you isn't expecting this. You grab him by the shoulders, lock him in place, and give him a quick boot to the ass to throw him in your place. And you know what? They don't mind. They're happy just to have someone to beat on. As you briefly walk over to where Orion is seated watching the view. This lasts for a little while. Astro, you've been tackled by a miner. What do you do?
Okay. Astro remembers some fight scenes he had to do. Close-up work. And some, he always does his own stunts. So he has a little, martial arts training, grappling training. He's going to try to subdue his attacker, kind of wrestle them into a position where he has control, and if that's successful, he's going to say, "Hey, calm down. I'm not your enemy."
What do you think this is, Astro?
I think this might be a take control.
I agree with you.
All right, let's see how it goes. Roll 17.
And you are able to take control of this situation. You're able to reel this guy off of you, stand yourself up, get away from the bar a little bit, and put a little bit of space in between yourself and them. Now looking at you and seeing you are far too pretty to be any of the people he was attacking, he just shakes himself, reorients to see who his friends are currently fighting with, and launches himself back into the brawl.
Damn straight.
Astro gives him a little push in that direction.
Astro spent an hour this morning, working on his hair and makeup. He can't have that messed up.
Evelene,
we didn't fight him, not the face.
It's Astro's moneymaker.
Evelene, after you dodge that stool, you stand back up and look around. You watch as Astro, who's nearby you, just stands up after being tackled himself, and realize that the two of you are kind of mixed up in things a little bit more comfortably than you would like. It's obvious that this part of the bar is becoming a mosh pit. What do you do?
So you said I was near Astro early on when Tessie said we had to wait for drinks?
Yes.
I think what I'm going to do is, so unlike Dyne's explanation of hey, let's get information, let's do something for our job, Evelene only came down because she wanted a damn drink. So hearing that we weren't going to get drinks for a bit, she's going to first see if she could spot the drinks from the feuding crews, steal a drink, and then work her way back.
Absolutely. What are you going to call this?
I want to stay. Can I use stay cool again, or it's the closest I've got?
Act unseen or unheard.
I do not.
If you're just grabbing anything that you see, I'll go ahead and let a stay cool happen just for dexterity and speed under pressure.
Cool. 11.
With an 11, you are able to kind of like skip out behind, grab something near one of the fuel haulers that's just sitting on one of their, kind of standing room tables that looks like it was basically untouched. And as you kind of escape back to where Dyne and Steve seem to have holed up to watch things blow over, you look down and you realize, they got the well stuff. Not the best things they have on offer here, but it'll do.
It was free.
It was free. It was free. Astro, as the sole remaining person watching things devolve around you, and Tessie looking at you, almost like she's accusing you of causing this problem, what do you do?
Astro will just hold up his hands and say, hey, I don't want any part of this. Back away slowly, and then find the table with everyone else.
Okay. Yeah, why don't you go ahead and give me an act unseen or unheard?
Can we start taking bets on? Can we start taking bets on how Astro's doing in this situation?
Based on that roll, pretty good with a 13, Astro. These aren't. You've seen a lot worse than this lot. Even in backlot rap parties for some of your movies. So you get out, you watch as these crews go at it with each other, and just shake your head. You really wanted that drink.
I did.
When
he returns to the table, he's gonna see Eveline's drink and say, "You didn't get one for me?"
I'll just wave my hand back to the brawl and there's easy pickings. Go back and get some.
I just managed to get a big brute off of me. I'm not going to mingle again. They might go for my face.
Oh, we wouldn't want that. And I just take a big swig of whatever this ale is.
No, but speaking of, what do we want here?
More booze?
Yeah.
Well, I thought we were coming to visit Tessie for a job and possibly an update on what the outcome of what happened with the pirate situation. She knows way more than you would think.
If anyone would know, you all know that Tessie keeps a close eye on the movements of all the armed factions here in this sector. That is why you guys came here on your first mission. Steve's a little bit newer to your crew, but he is a veteran of working on E.O.S Station. Working for Ren, Steve, you probably haven't had reason to come down here directly because you would know Tessie personally. You probably met Tessie, even outside, when she's on duty. But you do know that she is the person who has the most information on the ongoing developments of what's happening moment to moment from various sources she has.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, and I'll just say, I really tend to avoid these seedy places here, but if this is how you guys want to do it, then I'll just wait here until I can get a drink.
Usually not this seedy.
And
yeah,
you're right,
That's what
Astro.
Everyone who goes to seedy bars says.
Astro, in this case, you're right. Usually this place commands a little bit more respect. You were overhearing some of the barbs being traded back and forth between these two groups as you guys were sitting here waiting to get the information you were looking for. There is some sort of deep-seated unrest that seems to be bubbling up here. You noticed it very quickly as soon as the miners noticed that the fuel haulers were coming back from a delivery to the core. You've only seen the barest amounts of it for the last 2 days that you all have been on the station. But there is a bit of resentment brewing for people from the inner core because you've just recently heard, as you all have started getting new resources for yourselves, there is a a bit of a resource shortage happening right now in the rim. Most, if not all, of the important resources right now all seem to be getting funneled into the core, and there's not a whole lot left over but scraps out here right now.
So is this is between the miners and the, what is it, like the
Fuel haulers. Yeah, the fuel haulers are just coming back from having delivered a pretty profitable delivery. You, Astro, being the kind of person to pay attention to such things, were paying attention as one of the kind of the upper shipmen of the fuel haulers was almost like flaunting how much extra scratch he had on hand to like buy his crew drinks because of how much money they made on their shipment inward.
It's good pickings for them, but for everyone else on the rim, they're just struggling to get by right now. Astro will say, I can't blame miner folk for being upset. While everyone on the rim's struggling to get by, these haulers are making a killing.
Well, that's the unfortunate nature of it right now. Things may improve, but for now, well, at least it's only a bar fight.
Yeah, could be worse. As another bar stool flies across our view.
I mean, I don't know what we're surprised by. I mean, what do you think of your core worlds now, Astro?
I've never been a fan of those in power in the core worlds. Of course, I like the culture, the art, that you find there. The people, fascinating, different people from all ways of life. But the megacorps there, I've never been too much of a friend of theirs. There's a reason I'm blacklisted, after all.
Someday, maybe you'll see some real culture and art, not culture and art based around who can have the most money.
That would be nice.
What does that even mean? Someone who's never really been in the core systems.
Oh, I just mean that the core worlds are all greedy. I mean, sure, they'll make sure that people that are giving them money have a good time there, but as long as they're getting theirs in the end.
Oh, you mean like indie films? Yes, I've been in those too. It's fascinating what you can do with a
but ignore
low
what
budget.
he said and then look back at Evelene.
I just kind of shrug and just finish my finish the ale.
Astro, like during that exchange, Astro like genuinely looked perplexed about what you said, and then he was like, he means indie films. I get it now.
Dyne made like almost started to correct Astro and is like, no. And then just sipped his drink. Changed his mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna. Sorry.
Over the next few minutes, as you guys are talking, you will notice that after a while, after people are mostly battered and bruised, and there's not really a clear winner in this fight, just a lot of unhappy people. They're all standing up. Now that the bouncer has everyone's attention, kind of a large man who has... And I mean large. He has like two people like thrown over his shoulder that he picked up from unconscious on the ground. These kind of like directing traffic out as things are getting a little bit cleaned up.
Oh, finally, I was wondering how long we'd have to wait for things to calm down.
While the fight was ongoing, I want to see who would have noticed something. Who was paying attention to the peripheries of the bar while the fight was going on?
Probably me, because I was just sitting in the corner the entire time.
All right,
I might be watching too.
Astro would just be watching the fight. He'd be like interested in like who's winning, like it's his entertainment
notes
for the day. Yeah.
So I think Dyne is the most likely to be online for this since you have spot. Why don't you make me a spot roll?
I rolled a 3. I was distracted by the fight.
Obviously. It is you can tell that like basically the whole bar got caught up in this conflict. There were a few tables, that either through skill or avoidance were able to stay out of things a little bit. You notice that after people get kind of like dragged out, you didn't see anything about like what these people were doing during the fight with that roll, but you do notice that it is definitely much quieter in here out of those two groups are pulled out, with only like an old guy with like, sailor corded arms, hold up at one table, just like scowling, looking out at the rest of the room, sipping a drink, and a couple of people over at a booth on the far side who just look in shock, in horror to what they just witnessed. But other than that, that's about the limits to what you saw there.
Once everything calms down and like I finish my drink, I'm gonna get up and just start helping setting the tables back up that have been flipped over and the non-broken bar stools, just kind of help speed up the cleanup.
As you do, you will notice, Orion, that your drink is cleared a new one away and a fresh one is put in its place by one of the servers.
Astro just throws his hands up. What the hell?
You could help me, Astro. Dyne, you could have helped me, Astro, said Dyne as he comes back to the table and picks up his drink.
I just did my morning routine. I don't want to overstrain my muscles today.
Overstrain your muscles by picking up bar stools?
You never know what puts you over the edge. Now, I'm going to go see about that drink. Stands up.
Dyne continues to sip his drink.
As you approach the bar, Astro, Tessie walks up to you, sets the drink down in front of you. It's the exact same drink she had before.
Thank you. Boy, do I need this.
Yeah, looks like you got it rough.
Has this kind of thing been happening often recently?
She crosses her arms, like kind of leans back a little bit and says, "Yeah, not the same thing, but we see things like it. A lot of unrest right now."
Yeah, I'll say. What do you think they're planning over there in the core worlds?
Well, to hear anyone tell it, they're gearing up for something. You heard the announcements, that whole inquest fleet getting set up, them pinning a bunch of shit on FFC interference. If I didn't know any better, I'd say they're gearing up for war.
Well, they did lose their big battleship. That's going to be embarrassing.
Yeah, gotta be. Especially when it shows up a few days later, carpet bombing one of their settlements. Doesn't look good for anyone.
No, it does not. He takes a drink. Says, say, you hear anything about any pirate activity out in the Mentos system?
Yeah, I pulled it up while you were gawking at the state of my bar.
And what do you have?
Seems like a bunch of pirates went to dig up a bunch of fool's gold on a planet that was recently abandoned, and as tends to happen sometimes, the One of them outmaneuvers the others and snaps up the whole place for themselves.
Do you know which one ended up on top?
Smack.
Figures.
Yeah, it's not the weird part, though.
Really? What's the weird part?
They claimed the place.
So?
No, I don't mean like as pirates. I don't mean they, set up a base there or, built some, infrastructure in some ruins as they're wont to do. No, I mean they legally claimed the place.
Okay, that is weird. That does seem outside of their playbook.
Yeah, there's apparently old salvager code out there that says if you are able to, gain control of a place and show some amount of continuity between the previous owners and yourselves, you're able to basically, just pick back up where a previous settlement left off, along with all the legal benefits. As far as the state is concerned, settlement never went anywhere. It's just under new administration.
Huh.
Can we hear this where we're sitting at, or no?
I imagine you guys are close enough to see Astro talking, but probably not pick up the particulars.
Okay.
I'll say, so that's their play. So what are they doing? Are they shipping more people in?
What do you mean? Oh, you mean their people? Yeah, it's becoming like a settlement as far as I can tell. Now, this is like a bunch of pirates turned colonizers. I don't know what the fuck they're doing out there, and neither did anyone I talked to. This is, like you said, not in their playbook. I mean, all I know is that they've been requisitioning a bunch of documents to get their government back, set back up.
You have any idea what happened to the other pirate factions that were on the planet?
Very little. I know Ren. They asked me to look into this, them as well. So I already had some, lines in the sea, so to speak, about what's been going on with them. As far as I can tell, either they've limped off back to wherever they come from, or maybe they got wiped out. But I haven't heard from them.
Well, if you hear anything about the other pirate factions, especially White Rabbit, just give me a ring. I'm interested to know.
Hey, if it's a piece of information worth knowing, it's worth me knowing it. So I'll take a look.
I hold up my drink. Thanks for holding this for me. Keep the tab open for a little bit.
Okay, will do.
Walk back to the table, and I'll tell everyone what I'd found out.
That's weird.
So it seems like the play was to take legal ownership of the settlement.
Makes sense for the core worlds. They don't ever have to worry about civil uprising as long as they can deal with the new power that wins. Great way to keep your hands off of issues out in the rim.
Makes me wonder.
I feel like there has to be more to it than just that.
Oh, I'm sure, but I'm just saying from the core world's perspective, right?
Right.
I don't know why Smek would want the planet. That doesn't make any sense.
Well, I mean, we have a pretty good idea that Smek isn't necessarily the one calling the shots here. It's what's his face and what's his name?
Mark Carnes and
Donahan.
Yeah.
What, you think they got rid of the clown?
No, I think the clown is
Probably a
a
figurehead.
useful figurehead. Yeah. But he's not calling the shots anymore. Maybe he thinks he's calling the shots, but he's being influenced. This is not like SMEC. This isn't their playbook.
I don't know. I mean, you might be right, but I don't know enough about SMEC to know for sure. Maybe they just wanted a simpler, easier time.
I
They can
suppose
work with the
anything's
core
possible.
worlds now and live out real nice and easy instead of having to scrounge for everything.
Well, I guess anything's possible, yeah. Just,
I mean, I think we just need to keep our eyes and ears open. I mean, I don't think this is the last we'll hear of SMEC.
I hope it is.
We hope, but
I just hope some of our White Rabbit friends got out okay.
Yeah, I would like to keep in touch with city limits. You seem to be onto something with that. If we see any more of that fluid in the future, I really would like to see us have a way to stop it from exploding on us all the time.
could be worse.
Yep.
Could be just setting your mech on fire.
Shut up. Shut up, Dyne, and I'll get up and I'm gonna get a new drink from the bar.
All right, you get up there. Tessie's minding bar right now while, all of her workers are getting things cleaned up. So she's just kind of like running the bar for the few customers that remain after everyone got kicked out. She'll step up and say, "All right, Evelene, what you having?"
Oh, the usual. But I assume it's some sort of better quality alcohol than this crap. I assume I have a usual.
Yeah, what do you think that is?
I want to say better quality ale. I'm trying to come up with a fake space name off the top of my head, and I'm failing.
Okay, but it's like something local, probably something made in system, right?
Yeah,
maybe something that's made on E.O.S Station. E.O.S Station, remember, is the size of a large city. It's the largest single space station in this entire sector. So
it probably has some sort of local brewery.
Exactly. It's probably something from here. She probably has it on tap because they like dealing with the local brewers and whatnot.
Yeah.
She just pours it out for you. I'll come up with a better, now I want to, if I had known I would need this ahead of time, I probably would have spent like 20 minutes coming up with a name for a funny punny space ale, but funny punny. There you go. You get a nice cold draft of funny punny.
I'm going to come up behind Evelene to get a drink as well.
I'm writing that in my notes, but I hope that's not the case.
Funny punny.
Funny punny space brew.
Funny punny ale.
Yeah.
I'm going to come up behind Evelene and get a drink as well. And I'll just go, do you got, you make a long space iced tea?
Of course. You want, she asks, reaching for one of two differently sized glasses. She says, do you want all 12 or just 8?
I'll think for a second and then take another glance over at the bar and then go, 12.
Okay. She proceeds to mix like 12 different liquors into this weird abomination of a very
delicious. You can't taste any of it.
It is. Yeah. You can't taste any of it, but it is one of the it is the highest alcohol by volume drink she probably makes in this place.
Are you looking to get us fucked up, Steve?
I'll be nursing this for quite a while, I'm sure.
This is the drink for the night.
Yeah.
I'll just look up. I'll look up and go. Astro started a tab, right?
Yeah, he's got it.
Yeah. All right.
No. So let's get fucked up.
By the way, he told me a bit about what's going on there. I just think it's funny. Some ambassador from the core world's having to deal with SMEC. On that planet.
Yeah, I mean, in some ways it's probably funny to see a literal clown in the place of a politician, but
hey.
I don't know what they're doing there, but seeing whatever admin, for the core worlds has to deal with those assholes, be probably pretty funny.
Well, I'm not going to waste any brain power thinking about the machinations of weird space pirates dressed in makeup, but if you do hear anything, we'd love to hear from it.
Yeah, you got it. Oh, before I forget, Ren told me to let y'all know they have a few things they want to talk to you all about tomorrow. Did you get the resources they allocated to you?
Sure did. We've been busy on it for the last a full week almost.
Okay, good. Yeah, they just wanted me to check on it and let you know. Once you are all set with some things, they want to, just have a quick talk with you. I don't think they have anything planned just yet, but a few things they want to poke more into, see if you have more information about. It's over my head, but...
Yeah, I'll look around a little bit to make sure no one is nearby, almost as like a sign of trust for speaking with her on this, and be going, Ren seems guilty, I think, a bit. I don't know that these extra resources would have changed a whole lot there. We were sent into a war that we didn't know we were sending ourselves into.
Well, that's not going to stop Ren from worrying. Regardless, glad to see you get back all right.
I'll nod and raise the drink to her and go, is that all you're drinking, Evelene?
I was going to get more, but it sounds like you got that. It's worked out now.
Yeah, one-stop shop. I sip some of it.
All right, yeah, let's... One in Rome. One in a bar. Get drunk.
All right, so what do the four of you do for the remainder of the evening?
Astro just wants to have a good time out with his crew. He has a tab open for everyone. He suggests playing a drinking game.
He knows we put drinks on his tab. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't sure if he knew or not.
And if he doesn't know, he'll pretend it was his idea all along.
Yeah, I was just gonna say he actually didn't know, but when he finds out, he kind of rolls with it. He's like, "Oh, yeah, that's what I did." Mm-hmm.
I'm the cool boss.
Yeah.
I assume there's bar games like darts or something here.
Oh, yeah. On one of the non-observation walls, I assume there's a dartboard.
I like to, or at least Evan would like to, at one point, try to convince Astro to take a unreasonable bet, just to see if he's willing to commit to it, and then obviously make him lose the bet.
What kind of bet are we talking about? I need some details here.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe you have to eat my tuna for a week.
Okay, so if I do that, what do I get out of it?
Nothing.
How about I eat your tuna for a week, and you watch one movie a day for a week. One of my movies. Every day for a week.
God.
I'm not sure which gives more heartburn.
I know.
I will agree to that, you got a deal.
I will watch 3 movies.
4.
All right. We'll shake on it.
All right. It's a deal.
I'm still not sure that's an even trade, but okay.
For who?
All right. Do you guys want to just have a pilot check roll off here to see who wins this little wager of yours?
God, I don't even know what the roll would be.
I think either one of you could approach darts differently than each other. Evelene, how do you approach darts?
My brain wants to go to creative engineering, but I feel like you can't really get too creative with darts. I could stretch it a bit to doing some creative throws, but I feel like that's a bit of a stretch for that kind of skill trigger.
Unless you built the darts, I'm not going to let you do creative engineering.
I know. The only thing that comes close would be stay cool, but I've already used it twice.
That doesn't matter. It's still applicable here. That's yeah. Dexterity, speed, or precision under pressure.
That's all I got.
Roll it up, Evelene. Let's see what Astro has to beat.
9.
All right, with a 1d20 plus 4, you get a 9 total. Astro, Evelene talks a lot of shit and seems really confident to pull you into this bet, but she does well, but you were expecting her to rinse you. You thought you were being card sharked here, but you have a chance. You have a decent chance at winning here. How do you approach darts?
Let's see. I charm the dartboard.
You charm the dartboard.
I'm like, hey there, dartboard. You looking fine. Looking at
I can
my skill
see
triggers.
that happening too.
Your skill triggers have a deficit of things that would help with darts.
Yeah. I don't know if investigate would work.
I am sorry.
Dartboard.
If you had a few weeks to prepare for this dart game.
Leader inspire, hacker fix. Can I hack the darts so they fly in the right direction? I think
surely it's an electronical dartboard, right?
You could you could just throw an obviously losing set of darts and then convince the dartboard that you scored higher. Evelene will know you cheated, though. I mean, she has eyes.
But how drunk is she is the question.
Let me roll a dice to see if I'm drunk.
I think I'm just gonna do a straight D20
I think it's a flat
here.
Pilot check. You have as about a good a chance as winning as losing.
It's a 50-50 shot, roughly.
Oh, I'm not gonna do it. 6.
With just a 6. Evelene, you breathe a sigh of relief, as you definitely weren't playing your best game of darts, but Astro was even worse.
Guess tuna's on the menu, boys.
Don't worry, I'll hook you up with the good stuff.
Meanwhile, back at the table,
I'm not
just
gonna hook up with the good stuff.
This was a lose-lose situation, no matter who won.
I think some of their darts were horizontal when they hit the board.
I think at least half of COMET's darts are currently in the wall, not on the board.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Sounds about right.
At the end of the night, Astro, you'll notice a surcharge at the bottom of your bill for holes in the wall.
Hey, those were there when we got here from the bar fight.
They're dart-sized holes from the bar fight. Okay.
Hey, miners play darts. It's a known fact. You just saw one.
All right, well.
I saw you throw some darts. That's true.
Well, you all spend the rest of the night in the mooring, are able to relax a little bit after spending the last few days taking Ren's increased resources and rebuilding, refreshing, updating your mechs, getting a little R&R, maybe some training for yourselves. I'm interested to find out what all of you have done with those additional resources. Does anyone have anything they want to, talk about, with something they wanted to improve upon, or something that, now that you have a little bit more to work with, you decided you needed to figure out for yourself?
Yeah, sure, I can go.
All right, Orion.
So Dyne is going all in on weapons, and part of what I did, at least character-wise, was max out my engineering skill trigger, and the way that translated into how I built my mech was Dyne took his newfound knowledge and all of the extra resources to improve the power of his heavy pattern laser rifle, as well as to update his what is it? The prototype weapon that he's been installing on the side. It's no longer just a prototype weapon. It's now smart and far more accurate. So he's far more deadly than he was previously.
And Orion, as you have been kind of upgrading these, extra systems on the mech, getting the Prometheus just more and more, suited to exactly what you want it to do. You have noticed that over the last few days, just as she said she would, Artemis has been processing that additional medium that you gave her. I would say nothing particularly stands out as different to you, though.
Okay.
Artemis checks in when you install the new weaponry, make sure that everything is functioning. She seems happy to have, a few more powerful toys to play with. Very much likes that you have some cool things going on with that prototype weapon that you're working on. But never brings it up.
Okay. I figure when she wants me to know something's different, she'll tell me, so I'm not going to push it.
All right. Who else wants to talk about what they have accomplished or what they've done over the past few days getting themselves back into fighting shape?
Yeah, I'll go.
All right.
So my mech has the gunslinger protocol. I think of it, and it's integrated in such a way that I use pistols to find a weak spot by shooting things enough times to build up charges for it. Is how I like to think of it working. So I integrated another pistol so I can use more shots to hone in on things quicker. And then replaced out my other main guns for hand cannons. So one of my biggest drawbacks in the last fight was I couldn't get through any beefy targets with the guns that I had without using a ton of resources. So this way I can build up shots quicker and use a big old hand cannon to take things out now, hopefully.
Nice. And I believe even more so, you can really hone in on close range targets. Now, is that just some additional honing of your own skills that took place there?
I'd upgraded targeting systems, more armor, so a little bit more health and stuff too, that kind of thing.
Cool.
So I'm able to get accuracy on close range stuff now.
Nice. Yeah, the Tweety Bird, even more so now, is just, a demon of pistols and just a hurricane of shots.
Hard skirmisher. Yeah,
totally. Who else wants to tell us what changes and upgrades they've made here?
Well,
I can go.
Yeah, go for it, Evelene.
Yeah, I mean, mine's relatively boring, but necessary. So in the previous mission, I ended up taking a lot of hits, and I mean a lot of hits, and that's fine, because I feel like, Team Chutoy. I'm going to be more of a tanky upfront type of mech, so I ended up getting a reinforced frame for the new, I couldn't come up with a new name, so it's just Law Force Mark II. So more HP, more defense, so I could take more hits. And also, I did do some small tech upgrades. Just I'm getting Hunter's Lock, so basically I can lock onto a mech and then deal more damage on that specific mech. That's about it, really.
All right, so you took the opportunity because you did lose the previous Law Force that you had. So this, almost from the ground up with this new rebuild, it's like you added an extra half an inch of armor plating, making the mech significantly heavier, but more durable from the ground up.
Yep.
All right, Evelene, the new Mach 2 definitely fits your prescribed goals for how you plan to engage in fights, that's for sure. Luckily, you had enough experience and know-how on how you built that previous weapon you had. Because remember, the battle axe you had before was a salvaged axe
That's
that
right,
you had
yeah.
off of an enemy. So who did you work with to try and like almost rebuild that? Because you would have had to fabricate a new one from scratch this time.
I probably would have worked with her.
Yeah,
think
I was gonna say a heated blade, like or laser blade, seems like something that would be up Dyne's alley. And then probably if Ren didn't have the resources, I could probably also hit up shoot, what's her name? I'm drawing a blank. Black arms dealer, Honora. So I think a combination of Honora and Dyne, we were able to get that recreated.
And that's perhaps what takes maybe the longest to get here for you, Chimera, is
Yeah.
like you rebuild the mech with, mostly parts, building kind of a custom frame up from nothing. But you really needed some extra bits to get that axe working the way you want. In fact, this axe is more yours, even more than the previous one. That previous one, I mean, you definitely used it and it was definitely nice to have, but this one, you almost own more, right? Because you built it from the ground up and kind of seen the inner workings of it.
Yeah.
But in order to get it working the way you wanted it, you did have to wait for a shipment from your buddy Honora. And that's probably the last thing to come in. You look at the Law of Force mostly completed, and then you get that kind of like the crown jewel, which is your weapon, kind of to attach on there at the end.
Yep.
All right, Astro, the other one to completely lose their mech and everything associated with it last session.
Yep. So Astro was a busy boy. He had to get a brand new mech. So he's going back to the Swallowtail frame, which he used to pilot before the Goblin. And he has some new tech to work with. He has this ongoing relationship with this experimental technology company called Symbolica Labs, and basically they kind of sponsor him to. They want to field test a lot of their new products, and software, and so he integrates it with his mech. So he has a new. He lost his old NHP Lynch. Rest in peace, Lynch. He has a new one called Kubrick, which is an updated version of the old Hitchcock NHP he used to run. And he has some new hacking packages as well. So when he runs invade tech attacks, he can do more things.
And to kind of zoom in on what had to happen there, because you had to rebuild an entirely new mech from the ground up here, requisition all of this tech from Symbolica Labs again. A requisition form would not do. You needed to contact your contact at the research facility.
Yeah.
So why don't we, flash back to that? When did you contact CHIMERA? Was it like right after you got back to E.O.S, or when did you start getting into Astro's mind what he was looking for and what he was going to be requesting?
Yeah, Astro had to once we all got back to E.O.S, Astro had to sort of decompress a little bit after the long mission, grueling mission, and he couldn't even think about how he's moving forward. So probably after like the first initial debriefing with Ren, he's like, well, I don't have a mech to pilot. I better see what I can do. So he calls up CHIMERA Nael, his contact at Symbolica Labs, and we'll ring her up.
All right. And this is someone you've talked to a few times. You did meet her in person once, back when her company had like an extension on E.O.S. you know that since then, she has returned to kind of like the core laboratories, and you've been, communicating with her, remotely since then. This is the first time you've had to like call up with a real-time connection in a long time. CHIMERA appears on screen. Her appearance is professional. She has close cropped hair and a stern face. She's immediately all business coming onto screen. You can see a very, like, even just, in what you can see on the screen, a very clipped and obviously oppressed, dress shirt collar sticking up into frame. Just addresses you curtly. Astro, why are you contacting me?
Yes. So, I'm contacting you because our last mission went south, and I lost my mech. And I was hoping I could requisition some equipment from you as I rebuild my new one.
No one told you?
Told me what? I don't
you
think so.
see her like look around as if she's like looking for something that's maybe just out of frame. So how long have you been out of communication range?
Oh gosh, I don't know, some weeks.
Okay. We hadn't received any new telemetry from you recently. I assumed they had already told you. We're terminating your program.
I see. Is there anything I did wrong? Besides
really,
losing your expensive mech, I suppose.
She like shakes her head like briskly, like that doesn't even matter. No, we've been acquired.
Oh dear. By who?
Unfolding. Let me just make sure that's the right one. Yes, Unfolding. Unfolding Moravec. Astro, living in the core, you would know that this is one of like the big six. Like if there are a few megacorps that are bigger than all the rest, this is one of them.
Okay. I'll say, wow, that's big. I guess congratulations are in order, and I'm sure you're all getting a pretty hefty payout. Did I say something funny?
Oh, yeah, we're getting screwed. What are you talking about?
Oh?
Yeah, I had to cancel all of my special research projects.
Why
you included.
Why are they acquiring you?
We made a few breakthroughs here. Basically, they bought our entire company for a single software package and are canceling every part of our business that isn't related to that package.
What software package?
I think you're familiar with it. You got the first draft of it.
Oh, Hitchcock.
Yeah, Hitchcock.
At least that's what I called it.
Yeah, that was the first draft of our software package.
Oh wow.
The Eyes On package.
Yes, I recall. Well, that's strange though. Why wouldn't they be interested in anything else you're doing? Giving me so many good, cool toys to work with.
Yeah, good question. I feel like they don't know what the hell they're doing. It seems like they're cutting off their nose to spite their face.
Couldn't you, just deny their acquisition? Say you're not for sale?
That's not my decision.
I see. Well, that's really unfortunate. I felt like we had a good business relationship here.
Listen, I might be director of research, but I don't hold the purse strings.
Yeah, I understand that. No one ever listens to, the people actually doing the science. Where does that leave us?
Astro, are you familiar with software development?
You could say I dabble. And he winks.
So no.
Well, maybe not software development per se, but I'm good at hacking and reverse engineering things.
I have some money in my discretionary spending account, but it can't be related to any of my previous projects.
Okay. What are you saying?
You're
You
fired.
offering me? Oh,
Do you want a job?
yes. Yes, I think I do.
All right. I'm going to need you to come up with a very convincing set of fake credentials in the next 2 to 3 weeks. But I'm going to send you a few papers, and if you just sign a few non-disclosure agreements, standard stuff, don't worry about it. I think maybe this can work out for both of us.
I have to say, I'm intrigued. I think I can handle the fake credentials. Give me a couple weeks, and we'll be in touch.
I'll start sending some things over. Do you want the... You know what? Just send me along a list of things you need. I have some interesting things I'm going to have to look into. You might get a present or two. Make sure you test them well.
Oh, I'm good at testing them.
All right, Astro. I hope to be working with my new soon-to-be-named employee any day now, so get on that, would you?
Will do.
All right, she will sign off.
As Astro's like, wait, I thought you were working with me.
So, Astro, you're allowed to have that same deal you had before as long as you falsify every piece of information about it.
Just no longer above board.
No. No, it's not.
Well, it's a good thing we have Ren and other contacts that we can use to possibly get you that, or maybe you can hack it yourself. That could be dangerous, though.
Yeah, I would ask the rest of you if anyone knows anyone who could get me like fake credentials.
I have a feeling this is something Tor could either do, or he would know someone who could do it.
I believe so. That's kind of a thing he's good at. Yeah. Totally.
Faking credentials.
Yeah. So is that what you do, Orion?
Yeah.
Are you going to contact Tor on his behalf?
Yeah, I would do that.
All right. When you call him up, he appears and he goes, "Oh, hey, yeah, no, I finally have that stuff here for you."
Oh, cool. All right, I'll take it, and then I will ask a favor, although I'm sure you're going to charge me for it. So.
Oh, I thought you were just calling to follow up on that Timius Floros stuff I was looking up for you.
I definitely want that. So let's deal with that first.
All right. Well, it's not great news, but, you know, it is what it is. So, this guy, I don't know how he's done it. He's gone into deep hiding. I was able to get in touch with him through some roundabout channels, but he is charging a king's ransom for his cooperation.
All right.
Now, I looked into him a little bit too, because I was like, who the fuck does this guy think he is, right? Well, I wasn't the only one looking into him. Apparently, after he left his previous contractor, they've kind of labeled him as a rogue agent, and apparently the inquest has a warrant out for his arrest.
Well, that would explain the king's ransom for his assistance, huh?
Seems like. But if we're looking for someone who has some insight into what's going on there, I can't think of anyone better off the top of my head. I just don't think that's the kind of scratch we're going to be able to throw around.
Yeah. All right. If possible, could you get him to contact me and I can work on it on my end? If it ends up falling through, it ends up falling through. But either way, that's probably the best way to handle that at this point.
Yeah, I'll try. I mean, you'll probably get, a copy of a copy through a courier from another courier.
That's just how he's probably gonna deal with it. He's probably super paranoid. Not that he has every right to be at this point, though.
Yeah, I was gonna say probably rightfully so. Yeah, I'll you know what? I'll reroute my communications your way. So, I'll give you who I contacted to contact this guy. Once you've drafted something up, you want to get to this guy, just send it on.
Okay.
And then if he gives you a response, I'll just have him send it straight to you.
Mm-hmm.
Fake credentials, huh? For the movie star? I was wondering when he was going to ask for these. It's dangerous to be known out here.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the person that he was getting his technology from has been bought out by the Corps. But she has a workaround by hiring him as an employee. That way, she can use all of the funds to, appropriate them for our benefit.
Got it. Okay. Well, that's no dirtier than most things that happen there. Who'd they get bought by?
This is Jeremy forgetting. I'm sorry.
Unfolding Moravec.
I'm going to write that down now, but I'm going to say Unfolding Moravec.
Oh, don't worry. He's going to say it right back to you soon. He's going to go, Unfolding. That makes sense. I don't know if you guys have heard, but in the wake of all this stuff about CorSec getting these, new executive privileges and time of crisis powers with the inquest and stuff, let's just say the rest of the oligarchy has woken up and is not happy with the special treatment CorSec has gotten.
That makes sense. They're suddenly on the move to try and strengthen their position.
Yeah, and I mean every aspect. I'm talking Terratella, Manticorp, AM2, Unfolding Moravec, Lev Integrated Tech. They've all been making moves amidst, CorSec's new privilege situation. I'd say if a new conflict doesn't break out like the state seems to think it's going to, intercorp conflict is only a stone's throw away.
Yeah, and that's not any better than a straight outright war. It may as well be called war.
I wouldn't be surprised if there are territory disputes happening right now and we just haven't heard about them yet.
All right, I will keep an ear open on my end and let you know if I come across anything on that regard.
All right. Yeah, you keep me informed and I'll send along anything if anything seems like it's in your sphere.
Cool. Whenever you get the fake credentials, and I'll send him Astro's information. Just send it straight there.
All right. Yeah, no problem. Charge my usual fee.
Yep, no problem. Just let me know and I will pay it as soon as I can.
All right. Sounds good. Keep safe out there.
Yeah, you too.
For what it's worth, when when I was gonna say Nam, that's your
Wrong
D&D
game.
character. Yeah,
Wrong character.
When Dyne, when Astro talks to Dyne, and sends along some information that he can also pass along, he is gonna suggest his alter ego be Vance Powers, which is the name of the character he played in Deathbot Chronicles.
Dyne will not pass along that name and let Tor come up with it on his own.
That's too dead on.
I figured. I'm saying that's what Astro's doing.
No, do the villain. Or is there an actual villain with a name, or is it just Deathbots?
It's just the Deathbots. They're like they're the swarm. There's no leader.
The villains are the humans that created them all along.
Like, I'm thinking like Alucard for Dracula, like ridiculousness. Like, it's not obviously you, but it's if you think about it for a moment, it's obviously you. So like some other character from your movies, so they isn't obviously Astro.
Nov.
Look, Alucard or Astro's version is already on a slot machine. Okay, we don't need any more.
Oh God, I forgot about that.
All right. Well, things seem to be set in motion. Is there anything else you guys would have done in the first couple of days of being back amidst, getting your supplies in order and getting things kind of, resupplied and kind of settling down that you would have done before this follow-up meeting with Ren?
The only thing I could... Sorry.
No, go ahead.
The only thing I could think of is... We've been seeing the Nuisa's mandate pop up a lot more as of late. Evelene doesn't have high expectations, but I think she wants to send out some feelers to say, like, hey, has there been any, like, recent news about what those guys have been up to? Because I don't know if we've given them as much attention in the past.
And who are you putting out these feelers through? Like, what is the route of access Evelene has to this information?
I was kind of doing word of mouth through some of the miners and worker class people she knows. I don't want to go through. I keep forgetting her name. Oh my God.
The bartender.
I don't want to go for. Or yeah, actually no. Tess would be good here too.
Okay. I didn't know who you were talking about not going through. I was just guessing.
Honora, like I don't think
Honora.
Her arms are going to be the right thing for this. So I was just going to make it generic, but Tessa works as well.
Okay. You know what? Give me a word on the street, Evelene, to see if you uncover anything while you're, putting some requests out there.
I rolled a 24, so that was a crit.
Oh, very nice. So with a 24, you find less than you would like. This definitely is a success, but the problem is maybe the information is just not there. Like, you get a lot of information about, oh yeah, like a mandate guide visited a settlement and like offered training for how farmers could get like an increased yield on their crop, while also, explaining their ideals to the farmers and things like that. But nothing as dramatic as the things Ren has been having you look into. What I would say is that you do bump up against something, and that's probably what you get from the success here, Evelene, is that putting out this information here, you're trying to like reach out and see what the working man is kind of experiencing in the sector. And what you see is that it is becoming harder and harder to work with what the usual powers in the sector used to be. Like when you were smugglers for that, year in hiding, you all had to deal with, Cloak and the affiliation and, CDD and, Contraterine and Periapsis and all those kinds of things. All of them seem to be, well, choosing sides is a weird word, right? Because it indicates that there are sides to choose. But that's almost what it feels like. From what you're able to understand is like normal people are just having trouble working with these groups who often have a chokehold on, main supplies through the sector are being snapped up by other interests. You find out that, Cloak seems to be working hand in hand with Corsec. The affiliation, as Evelene, is working with the Astro Uprising and the Nobilis affair. The Free Space Pact and all of their allies are in the wind, and you watched what happened when a bunch of Free Space Pact pirates all descended on a single location just last mission. CDD is being completely uncooperative. The Ruin Train is tied up with their Contraterine dealings, and Periapsis is a big question mark. No one knows what they're up to. The working class people, they're finding they have to fill in the gaps that this infrastructure has left behind by dealing with this upstart religion that came out of nowhere. This group of people who
Fanatics?
are showing up places. Yeah, the Noesis mandate is showing up places and providing aid where there are gaps, and that's gaining them a lot of positive buzz in the sector.
So it sounds like, yeah, a lot of more. Seems like allegiances are being more firmly defined, and such that a lot of people who need the help are now having to rely more on the mandate.
Yes, exactly. It is like these people who once filled in the gaps that the government left behind are now also getting snapped up as if they themselves were resources, leaving behind those same gaps that someone else has to fill now.
Is there any implication that the Noesis mandate seems to be getting more, like, I don't want to say powerful, but more like they seem to have more resources available to them to help?
It's
with these
hard to say. Like,
Okay.
that's something that's not clearly defined in the reports you're getting back.
Well, I'll pass this along to everyone else and say, like, yeah, that's really weird. We should be watching out for that if we try to ask for more favors in the future.
I'm a little confused on what's weird about it.
Well, I mean, I don't say weird, but it's a shift in what we've seen in the past, which kind of leads to, like we were saying that, for example, all the these tech companies seem to be ramping up. Like, it seems like I don't want to say playing field, like things are changing.
Right.
I guess.
It kind of seems in line with how Symbolica just got acquired by Unfolding Morvek.
Oh, it's in line with what Tor told me about. All of the big six are currently on the move in order to not be left behind. We could be having corp wars soon, territorial disputes.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it feels like human nature. The big fish takes over the small, weakened fish, right? No one's there to do anything or help these core or these rim worlds, so they have to cling to something. They find anything they can.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much
The weak follow the
surprised.
strong, right?
Not so much surprised it's happening, like it's bound to happen. Just wondering about the timing is all. Why now? And why does it feel so well orchestrated?
Hard to say. We need more information.
Yeah.
Right now, it just seems like everyone's trying to survive and not be brought down in the catastrophe of the large corporations gearing up for something.
I mean, on the one hand, I think Core Worlds is facing unprecedented resistance. So they probably feel like they need to shore things up.
I mean, I agree. It's a bit strange, and I'm not sure where resources are coming from for them, like you mentioned. But it seems like the core worlds seem more pressing at the moment.
I agree.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the thing that worries me most is just the fact that we never came up with an explanation. Like, I think in the back of her mind, Evelyn is still a little unnerved by the fact that we haven't come up with a good explanation on why all these colonies are sort of drying up, or sorry, disappearing. And the fact that, like, everything seems to be moving and no one seems to be paying attention, this is slightly a concern for her. Like, I mean, obviously we're not core systems. People, we don't get there's not as much news attention out here, and the Noesis mandate, for all intents and purposes, seems like the most likely candidate for why these colonies are disappearing. I mean, I think we'll probably get more information
Well-
from Ren when we meet with them.
Well,
but
you've
certainly-
got you got some friend, right? Some big shot out somewhere. You talked about him before.
Big Shot.
Yeah, I mean, what do they know about this mandate?
Oh, you mean what the Noblesse affair?
Oh, is that who they're working for or with?
Yeah, we know some people from there, but they're we haven't tried to contact them. I guess that could be worth a try.
Well, I meant the one guy that stole the ship, right?
Yeah, that's the Noblesse. Or no. Oh, you're talking about Rock.
That was his name.
Oh, Rock. Yeah. I mean,
Why don't we just ask him and see what he knows?
We
Or
can
have you
certainly
already done
contact
that?
him. Let's.
yeah, we can
Let's-
hook up. We can
I'd
hook up a
love
line
to-
for you. You can hook up a line for you to talk to him. Is this me setting up a situation where you're talking to yourself? Yes.
Well,
Let's wait
Astro's-
until after we talk
Astro's-
to Ren first.
Astro's gonna ruin it and say, "Oh yeah, I would love to hear from Rock again, see how he's doing." Rock and
You're not going to steal Torsay back, okay?
Above board,
Torsay,
I'm
yeah.
guessing. Above board, I'm guessing we're probably not going to be able to get a direct contact with him, but maybe.
Above board, if you try, you'll find out.
Yeah.
I'd say your suspicion is probably pretty correct.
But Steve just brings up. It's worth asking him what he knows, right? Let's find out what he knows about things.
Yeah. No, I agree.
All right. And so if you're going to call him or try to contact him after, speaking with Ren, I would say there is one more thing that comes in before your meeting with Ren. And this is for you, Astro.
Mhm.
This is a communication you get, COMET, that you're a little surprised by because it's been so long that you've been out of the game. You kind of assumed that it wasn't gonna matter anymore. And you have received like a almost like a telegram, like a referred message to kind of like get to you wherever you happen to be at the moment, from Roxana Kaplaner, your old agent from back when you were a movie star.
Oh. Yeah, this will take Astro a little off guard. So wait, it's just like a message for him, not like a live.
It is a message to get in contact.
Oh, okay.
She has very important information for you.
All right. Astro, once he gets this, he's gonna drop everything he's doing to get in contact.
She has given
You want me
you.
back? I'll come back.
She has given you contact information for how to like contact her at like one of those big public terminals, right? So like this wouldn't be from your ship. Basically, she is letting you call collect, right? So she's
Okay.
picking up the charge for it. But in order to use this, you have to go to like a call center, and E.O.S has one of those, so you can go there.
Okay.
It's like a big communication hub that uses E.O.S's like internal system communications.
Okay, great. Yeah.
Just so you know, that means it's very much not
It's
a secure
very
line.
public,
This is one of the
yeah.
most public, open. You can't do anything about that. It's going to be what it is if you accept this call.
All right. So Astro will note that and remind himself like to not discuss anything too sensitive. But he's kind of thinking like maybe this is some sort of like show business related call. So that's where his expectations are. So he'll call her up.
once you put the call out, it only takes like a minute or two before you get a response. But you do have to wait there a while. Not knowing exactly when you were going to call. She can't be perfectly ready at all times. But as soon as she answers, you see her face just light up when she sees you. Normally, this is not the response you get from her unless you've just sold a hit. Right?
Yeah.
Like, this is like the I'm a good agent, I'm so happy I'm going to be rich face.
Right.
She lights up when he sees it. Oh, thank God they didn't hurt your face.
My thoughts exactly. Roxana, been too long. How have you been?
Things have been here, things have been there, but don't you worry about that. You worry about what I'm going to tell you next. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
They're ready to drop everything.
What do you mean, the blacklist?
Yes, they want you back.
They want me back?
Oh, yeah. Not only that, they have the perfect project lined up for you. Baby, I'm telling you, there's all this, Djangoistic, kind of like flag saluting. All the core is all about, Cygnus, so they want you to star. You're back to star and roles. They want you to star in a nationalistic epic about, a principled, it's gonna, it's gonna, hack off your life. But this is why they wanted you, about a movie star from the core who goes out there to see what life is like in the outer fringes, but then comes back because he knows his heart lies with the state.
Oh, well, that is not exactly subtle, is it?
Oh, but it's gonna sell bonkers.
That is very intriguing, I must say.
She smiles at you and looks a little confused. He's like, this is like the best information I've gotten for years. You were one of the top 20 moneymakers in the biz 4 years ago.
Well, it feels like maybe I've ruffled their feathers and they're trying to buy me off now.
Are you crazy? They buy everyone off. It's what they do.
That's true. And, don't get me wrong. I want to get back in the biz, but something about this feels suspicious to me.
Suspicious nothing. This is a gold mine. Come on, everyone around here is talking about how, they need the next great hero to inspire, the up-and-comers. You were the hero of last year. Let's make you the hero of today.
All right. Well, hey, is there a script I can read?
Well, it's passing through a bunch of screenwriters' hands. Trust me. It's not gonna matter. I think as long as we, pull the right strings, get one of the directors that you like working with, you can probably rewrite most of it on stage.
All right. Well, thanks, Roxana. You're the best. I'll be in touch.
What?
I just need to, take some time to, consider and figure out what arrangements can be made.
How is this not a windmill slam? Yes.
Listen, do you know what I'm doing out here?
Yeah, putting yourself in danger.
I feel like I'm finally making a difference out here, and this is their way of reining me in. Trying to flash some big movie deal in front of me, get me to stop what I'm doing.
Astro, you've trusted me with almost your entire career. Trust me now. What you're doing out there? Sure, it may be nice. Maybe you can help a few people. Sure, that's great. You know what you can't do out there? Reach the heart and minds of billions of people who are going to watch this flick.
Well, a few years ago, maybe that's all I cared about, but things have gotten slightly more complicated since then.
What's so complicated? You come back, you do some good, you get rich. Listen, I know what they did to you. It weren't great. You know, I watched your savings go up in smoke, and you had a midlife crisis on me. You bought a big ship and you flew out into the middle of nowhere.
Oh, and I just can't drop it now. I have responsibilities. I have a crew.
Okay, bring them back. They can be your entourage. Have them fetch you some water while you're filming.
Oh boy. They would not be up for that, I'll tell you right now.
Good. Hey, bring in some roughnecks from the Outer Rim. Everyone will love that. They'll be like, oh, Astro, ain't he so eccentric? He found some friends out in the Outers. Look how rough they are. You know, and then you clean them up for the next big biz party, and they'll be like, oh, they clean up really nice. Look at them.
Listen, it's tempting. It's tempting. I'll give you that. Part of me just really would love to get back to my old life, but I'm in too deep now. I just can't give up what I'm doing, especially if I know if it's going to run counter to what I'm trying to achieve out here.
Astro, you see her face like trying to like conceptualize what you're telling her, and it just like contorts, and then she gets this look in her eyes like there's a storm behind those eyes, and you've only seen her look like this once.
Yeah.
And it is when you nearly tanked an entire film by having a little bit too much fun in between, and driving off like 2-3 directors, and they thought the entire project was going to collapse. This is her like, I'm going to tell you the tough truth face, right? She's like, listen, if you don't do this, it's an exploding offer. You want to think about having your old life back? That could end. You might never find a way back in if you don't take this. And this ain't just for you. We built an entire production company here under you. We were looking at getting you into directing after you pulled in another few piggy banks. What about all those people? Weren't they your responsibility one at a time? What about me? I've been your agent for like 15 years.
Yeah, and you've been the best in the biz.
Astro, I'm going to give you 1 week. You have 1 week to figure your shit out and call me back. This is an exploding offer. If I can't come back to them with a yes, you might be on the shit list forever.
Well, that may just have to be.
You see her not even talking to you, stands up and just walks out of frame without ending the call. And you hear her just yelling in the background, just like, what are you gonna fucking talent? And just you hear a door slam in the back of the call somewhere.
I'll say, okay, bye, I guess.
All right, and you end the call.
Yeah. Very interesting. Astro will come back to when you all see Astro next. He's gonna look very preoccupied. And he'll say to you guys as we're heading over to Ren. So my agent called, basically offered me a huge role. They unblacklisted me, apparently.
Why?
Because I think they're finally starting to take notice of what we're doing out here, and they think they can tempt me back to a movie business, basically pay me off, give me my old job back. And the plot of the movie is also exactly that, by the way. I play some intrepid pilot that goes out to the outer worlds and finds out he rather stay in the core worlds where his heart belongs. It's basically propaganda.
Bit on the nose, isn't it?
That's what I said. But if I turn down this deal, that's probably it for me.
I mean, I thought you kind of assumed that we assumed that from the get-go, right?
I did.
So
But
if you think about it, nothing changes.
But I always hoped I wasn't burning all my bridges. It's just sinking in now that, they've already been burnt. And
I mean, do you need the backing to make a movie? I mean, all you need is what? A camera and a script to make a movie? I have no idea how movie making works.
A lot of money is what Dyne is going to say.
And if you want anyone to see it,
I mean, they got the space internet, right? You can just post it on SpaceTube.
Right? What I will say is, a thing that you all know is that there is the CSO, the Cygnus State Outer Net, which is kind of how you find information about things all over. It is state operated because they kind of, they bill it as a utility. So they're like, well, everyone needs to have access to communications with everyone else. But because of that, they've also handed it off administrative-wise to their biggest, experts. The experts in the field when it comes to telecommunications. Terratella.
Oh. So they could just, drop whatever Astro makes if he's still blacklisted.
Yeah. Let's just say it is likely no algorithm will give a shit that his movie appears anywhere. In fact, it might be biased against it.
That's a rather rude algorithm, if you ask me.
Well, let's go talk to Ren. See what they have to say. Not necessarily about your new movie deal. Congratulations, I guess.
Yeah, fuck that deal.
I'm not taking the deal.
All right.
I just have to tell my agent. That's gonna be. She's already pretty unhappy with me.
Here, Astro, think of it this way. We still have a job based on this decision, and you know what? Let's drop one can of tuna from that bet. You only have to do it for 6 days, not 7.
Really? And you'll watch one of my movies?
Well, don't push your luck now.
He's going to get back to his new Mac and find a movie installed on his Mac. Or her
Honestly,
Mac.
I half expect that.
All right, well, think about it later. Let's go talk to Ren. See if you're right.
All right, and that is where you all get to. Ren's office is a large office. It is eccentric. You've met Ren more often, out and about. They are someone who likes seeing the workings of their station. They go to parties. They meet up in their engineering department. They're something of an engineer themselves. They really like interacting with the thing they've built, but also is a show-off in a lot of ways. And as you walk into Ren's office, there are a few things that stand out immediately. One is the choice of desk placement. This office room has what I would generously relate to a large 1970s style conversation pit in the center. And at the far end, from the side nearest to the door, in that pit is a giant desk. So on one side of this conversation pit is a large working desk, and on the other side of this conversation pit is a half circle of very plush seating. Big fuzzy pillows. Honestly, it is something you would expect to see in one of the mansions you would stay in, Astro.
Yeah.
Secondly, in the back of the office, you see a large, ornate, fur-covered statue. there's something odd about it. You're not quite sure what. It's humanoid. It's like standing in a way that almost looks like it's looking out the window in the office. It has its arms like on its hips, as if it's like presenting. It has like this long like fur drapery wrapped around one side of its neck, over its back, and around the other side, almost like a tabard. And it just dominates the presence of this room. And speaking of the observation window, rather than have an observation window looking out into space, Ren has an observation window that opens up into E.O.S Station. Being on kind of the interior of the spinning circle of the station, from this window, they can see out and basically look over some of the largest districts in all of E.O.S, as they just kind of rotate past, kind of a window designed to look out on the work itself. Ren is waiting for you in the office, and they invite you in. Please come sit down. It's good to see you. Did you get everything you needed?
Yes, thank you very much. We are in the midst of making our repairs and our building up our new equipment.
Oh,
I'd say we'd be prepared for whatever war we find ourselves stumbling into next time.
Again, I wish I had known. But please, come in, take a seat. She leads you over to the conversation pit.
Thank you.
Rather than sitting behind the desk, they kind of like walk into the conversation pit with you and sit on the desk and just kind of, very emotive. When Ren talks, they're very emotive, always talking with their hands. So you've been on station a little bit. I've taken a look at some of the things you brought me. It's, let's just say I have a lot of questions. Now,
You're not the only one.
I just wanted to make sure you were all safe before. I have a few things I looked into, but anything else come out? Anything else you remember that stood out from the mission?
I'm speaking for myself. I sent you everything I had.
Okay, good.
There's a lot going on there. I'm still trying to process, all the various machinations and things that were in motion there. I don't know what to make of it yet. But
okay.
you know everything I do.
All right, well, there are a couple of pieces of information that I wanted to make sure I told you all personally. I couldn't trust them to a message. First off, Evelene, you asked me to check up on that friend of yours. See how he was doing?
Oh, city limits?
No. RC.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I looked into it, and from what I could tell, there's a lot of chaos over there right now. Well, Anyway, apparently, he's working for Smack now.
Ah, figures.
Well, I mean, just nothing we don't already suspect.
No,
Who did I make that bet with?
I just don't understand why he even left on the ship with us if that was his plan.
Maybe it wasn't his plan.
About that too.
Maybe he's a rat that jumps ship when he sees it sinking. Not that I'm saying the DBC is sinking, just that I'm saying maybe he saw some cheese. I'm really stretching the rat kind of thing. Okay, moving on. Secondly, and I need you all to keep this hush. She looks like they look at all of you individually, like waiting for you to nod before they continue. Okay.
I'll raise an eyebrow and say,
Astro
yeah.
nods very soberly.
All right.
I'm pretty bad at keeping secrets, but I can try.
Okay. Well, you're gonna have to try, Steve. You're gonna have to try. I believe there is an inquest agent on the station. I don't know where. I don't know what they look like. I don't know what their name is, but I think there is an anti-insurrectionist on board investigating my workings here, and I don't like that. And I don't think they'll like what you all are doing, so keep your eyes open.
What led you to believe that?
Well, Astro, you were here at the time. Remember after all that hullabaloo with those people trying to break into my vaults?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Well,
We were there.
remember how those people came by from Corsac to investigate things afterwards, and you all skedaddled out of the door under their noses?
Yeah, sorry leaving you holding the bag, by the way.
No, that's okay. I'm amazing and know it. The thing is, that the person who was here is that Frank Winchester fellow. The admiral of the inquest or whatever they're talking about now. Well, I got some communications from some friends. We won't get into it, but I have some friends, some places, and they have told me to make sure I'm not doing anything too suspicious in public with who I'm dealing with, which is hard for me. That's how I do business. That might look suspicious if I was brought in on the inquest. So now I'm passing that information along to you because I think you're probably in that kind of danger too.
So we're being watched.
Well, I don't know if they know you're here, but the station's being watched.
Okay, understood. Should we avoid being in public in the station too much? Maybe just lay low. We could just live out of our ship.
The people who work and do things here know you all, and I think doing anything out of the ordinary would be suspicious too. I'm just telling you, don't say anything obviously illegal in public.
We could probably handle that.
Are you sure?
I'm 90% sure.
I'll do my best to keep him out of trouble.
Thank you, Dyne.
Maybe this is a bad plan, but maybe we do the opposite.
What, draw
people
all attention to
know
us?
we work for you. Well, people know we work for you, and if you are being looked into, then maybe we should make it a little known that we are doing what we're doing to try to catch this insurgent here.
You mean lead them into a trap of sorts.
I mean, we would have to go someplace pretty far away to find them following us or following information about us.
Well, the good news is I think I have an idea of what I'm looking into next, but, well, I don't have all the details yet. You'll have to stay on station a little bit longer, but some interesting things have come up.
No information about it at all yet?
Well, let's just say a picture is coming into focus, and I don't like the shape of it. But I don't have all the pieces yet.
Can you give us any indication of what your thinking is going to be?
Yeah, maybe we could help.
I know a lot of like-minded people to me, and they have various holdings here and there, and we talk from time to time. Well, I have a concerned friend who has something they might wish for me to look into that may align with the same kind of concerns I'm having. I don't want to give the goose away yet because she has me in close confidence, and I don't want to give anything away that she wouldn't say to you herself. So once I've finalized things, don't worry, I'll give you everything I know.
Okay. We'll be here.
Excellent.
Or on the core worlds.
On the core worlds.
Mm,
Oh, Astro.
That's not gonna happen. I got an offer to basically get back into the showbiz, starring role
Oh,
in some movie. But it's not gonna happen. I think we've ruffled some feathers, and they're trying to lure me back.
oh. You're sure?
Pretty sure.
Okay. Well, if that changes, be sure to let me know.
The plot of the movie was not very subtle in what they want him to do. So
Yeah, they
So
basically
some
wanted
propaganda.
to play myself. You know, going out to the outer rim, realizing it's not quite for me, and coming back to the core worlds where I belong
Ah,
as like a patriotic piece or something.
that's not surprising. We all fight with the weapons that are close at hand, and I think Terratella themselves are feeling the squeeze from Corsac having a little bit more latitude to investigate whatever they deem appropriate. Probably want to generate some national zeal and trust in Terratella by, putting out a rousing nationalistic enterprise.
Exactly, and then they get me out of the picture too.
You know, it- well, okay, what if we went and took the offer? And you do this movie.
Then what?
What do you mean?
Well, I'm sure Ren would like to have some inside noses around Terratella, getting some information. Also, if we wanted to get really sneaky, we could maybe try to hack that movie, and the first time it shows, make it be something else that could throw Terratella under the bus. Incite a little bit of what the cores are afraid of. War with each other.
I don't know. Feels like what we're doing out here is more important. On the rim.
Ren frowns a little bit, but then thinks. It's like it's always good to have another option, Steve. Thank you. I wouldn't have considered that before. But maybe you're right. I do have to think about everything that's at our disposal.
Well, you don't have long to think, because apparently the person that Astro was talking to said that they've got how long do you have? A few days?
A week. I don't know. It doesn't feel right. Trust me.
All
There's
right,
a part of me that wants to do this, but it just can't happen.
Well, Astro, don't send a decline just yet. We might as well give all the time they've given you. I'm going to finish looking into what I'm looking into, and hey, if that doesn't go anywhere, maybe this is another way in.
It's intriguing for sure. And I get to go back into the movie business. The end result is still the same. I'd be burning all my bridges, but it would be a fun way to burn my bridges.
I guess you'll get paid.
We'd get to live nice for a little while.
only if he gets paid before the movie comes out.
Not that it's bad here, but we did just come from a bar fight.
Hey, here's a question. If we go back to the core system, do we have to do a deal with Manticore? Because they still hate us.
I don't think Manticore's going to make a move when we're working under Terratella.
I guess. I don't know. Just something to think about.
Well,
if they want to take us out, that's an opportunity right there.
Well, you all now know what I know, so you leave forewarned and forearmed. So go about the business. Just make sure, hey, actually, if while you're out there, you're able to identify whoever this inquest agent is, that'd be good information to have. But I'm not expecting it of you. Mostly, I just wanted to warn you.
Well, it's good to know. And who knows? Maybe we could poke around and get some intel for you.
Well, thank you for coming to see me. We'll probably talk in another couple of days, maybe sooner. I have a lead that I may need your help following up on. But Astro, if you don't mind, if you could stay behind, we have something to discuss.
Sure. Be my pleasure.
All right, do the rest of you leave?
Yeah, I'll see myself out there.
Yeah, I'm out of here.
Yep. It's a busy day for Astro, man.
It is.
Got a lot on his plate.
Asher's the man of the day.
Ren will
like he's the
apologize and just be like, sorry, I have a few more details to discuss with your captain, but don't worry, I'm sure he'll pass along what he deems appropriate. After they leave Astro, Ren, follows them to the door, sees them out, gives everyone a hug, and then when they come back over, sits down on the desk opposite you again and says, Astro, hearing that you were offered to go back to the Corps, is that something you're thinking about doing?
It's not. I can't. I've made a life for myself here. If I went back now, I'd be throwing that all away.
Okay. Well, that's good to hear, because there's been something I've been meaning to talk to you about. We've worked well together for years now, ever since you saved my life and E.O.S Station back when we first met. I felt that I could trust you. And
of course, anything, Ren.
Well, there's some legwork I've been doing for the past decade or so, laying the groundwork for a community, a coalition, so to speak, of other like-minded people, independent operators across all of the state. I want to bring you into that.
I'm listening.
The goal, I think you're able to handle this because, well, even your friend Rock has gone off to work with the Aster Uprising. Our goal is just materially improved lives for the people the state ignores or exploits. And we don't care too much about the methods. The goal here is to back every horse in the race that works towards doing something to make their lives better. You may not know it, but for years I've been secretly funding some of the Aster's movements. After hearing you all entangled with them, I was surprised myself, and it made me more confident that you were ready to hear this. Be it fighting in the lobby room to make sure better laws are passed, or packing a few revolutionaries when those things don't work. I'm not above getting my hands dirty, and I don't think you are either.
Astro will shake his head and say, "We are definitely not. I'm at your disposal, Ren."
Good. Because the person I'll be meeting in a day or two is another member of our group. A wealthy, influential member. And I can't burn her identity except to someone I trust.
Understood.
There's a big Corsect project going on. You might have even heard of it. Terraforming an entire planet.
I've heard some rumblings about that. What were they trying to do?
It's not something that happens very often. People like to talk about in the sci-fi pics about, oh yeah, just, alter the balance of this or that, and all of a sudden we got another gem, but it's hundreds of years of work to get anything like that moving. So I don't know why they're doing it. Not the Corsec. You understand now that they're nearly interchangeable. I sometimes call the state Corsec.
Yes, I do too.
The Cygnus state is backing this, what appears to be humanitarian effort to rebuild this planet whose atmosphere got ruined by some of our first reaches into the wider galaxy. A planet that got burned up by overexploitation. And they want to repair it. Put it back to a living world. Despite being a huge PR move, I know it's expensive as hell. And I have it on good authority that there are other things happening there. I may want to send you there to look into it.
We would be happy to. It sounds very intriguing. I'd like to see what they're up to.
They've all but admitted that it will take maybe generations for this project to complete. Why are they doing it now?
Do you think they even intend for it to complete?
It's easy enough for a future politician to go, oh, the lack of foresight of my predecessors. Oh, it breaks my heart to not complete this project, but it's not what's right for the state right now. I feel like at any time they could drop this project. They must be doing it for another reason. So I want to see what's going on there.
Probably it's all a cover. And there's something else they're really trying to achieve on the planet. Terraforming it is just a fashionable excuse they can roll out.
My thoughts exactly. The person I'll be meeting in a few days is another system, another station owner over in that sector. She's rather influential, but has gotten to this point by playing very close to the state. It would be very bad for her to find out she is in any way moving against their interests. I have a little bit more freedom because I've built my bed upon being independent, you see.
Right.
Well,
but she needs those connections, I'm sure.
That's what we've been using her for. It's good to have someone who plays the good puppy now and again.
Understood.
Well, I'll give you more info when I find it. And we'll have to see. There's still so much I'm still trying to unravel from what you all discovered. I wasn't lying. There's something else out there. I can't get my mind past. It's like there's another group playing in this arena. I don't know what their goals are, what they have access to, anything about them. It's like we're fighting a war and there are ghosts on the horizon.
A hidden opponent. Yes, I felt the same way. We're unraveling threads of something that we don't even know what the fabric is.
They stand up from their desk, kind of brush off their pants. Well, Astro, it was good talking with you, and like I said, remember to be careful. We'll be in touch.
Thank you for bringing me into the fold, Ren. This is what we're here for. We want to help.
I'm glad to
We
hear
want
it.
to make a difference in the system.
Well, get back to your work and I'll get back to mine.
All right, thank you, Ren. I'll shake their hand and take my leave.
All right. As you leave, you see Ren kind of just walk over. They look out over the vision they have of E.O.S Station from their, view on the side of their office. And as you exit the office and close the door behind you, we're going to go ahead and call that for this first session today.
Awesome.
All right.
Cool.
And we'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye.
All right.
Bye.
See ya.